Let's get to it. Here are the progressive news headlines for October 22nd, 2020. I hope in the future, if you look back on this news and you think to yourself, wow, it was horrendous back then, but people were still fighting. Anyway, that's my hope for the show. Let's get the little clip up here, the little image up here so we can have some eye candy while we're doing this news. Purdue Pharma, the notorious maker of OxyContin, has agreed to plead guilty to criminal charges for its role in the opioid epidemic. They're going to pay $8.3 billion in penalties. Under separate civil settlements, members of the Sackler family, the owners of Purdue Pharma, will pay $222 million in civil penalties for their role in a company program that caused healthcare providers to prescribe opioids for uses that were unsafe, ineffective, and medically unnecessary, and that often led to abuse, and diversion. Critics are calling it too late and far too little to match the scale of the corporation's deadly scheme, and are calling for criminal charges against Purdue executives and or members of the Sackler family. I think that's great. You can join the fight by checking out what Public Citizen is doing, going to citizen.org. They're doing a big fight against Big Pharma. It's a great win. We need to keep pushing for more wins. Where is that money even going? Is the $8.3 billion going to what? Starting rehab clinics? Are they going to put together the families that have been destroyed by addiction? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Next up, Latino civic engagement organization Mi Familia Vota Education Fund and several individual voters are suing President Donald Trump and members of his administration for voter intimidation in violation of federal law. The lawsuit alleges that Trump's actions constitute illegal voter intimidation under the Voting Rights Act, which is still in effect, as far as we know, of 1965, as well as an unconstitutional suppression of speech and votes under the First, Fifth, and 14th Amendments. It names Trump, Attorney General Bill Barr, and Acting Secretary of Homeland Security Chad Wolf as as defendants based on what the plaintiffs describe as their violent suppression of public protests opposing police brutality, the encouragement of white supremacist vigilantes, threats to send sheriffs and other law enforcement to the polls, the undermining of mail-in voting, and the rejection of the peaceful transfer of power. It is nice that we still have some access to, these legal, there's still some laws. Let's use them and see how far we can get. You can support the organizations doing this work in securing their voting rights at mifamiliavota.org, mifamiliavota.org. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that properly. I only speak Italian and English, not Spanish. All right. Moving along, Pope Francis, Catholic leaders and observers of the Vatican witnessed a major step forward for the Catholic Church yesterday after Pope Francis indicated his support for civil unions for gay and lesbian couples to ensure they have the same legal rights as married straight couples. The show of support for LGBTQ plus people breaks with the church's long-held official teachings. The Pope also called on the church to keep open doors for divorced people who remarry and held a private meeting with a transgender man. It's like, that's so shocking for them. Oh my goodness. And they also reportedly the Pope also reportedly embraced him when he was asked whether there was a place for him in the church. How wonderful. And this on the heels of the Supreme Court possibly just about to confirm Amy Coney Barrett, religious bigot, religious zealot, who is actually out of step with her own religious church, the leader, the mouthpiece for God, as they believe. She's out of step. So What can we call her when she's out of step with her own church? I guess religious zealot that went out on her own? Right-wing religious zealot? We shall see. Climate campaigners gathered at the headquarters of the European Union's central bank in Frankfurt, Germany yesterday to demand that it stop financing the fossil fuel industry. Demonstrations like this, and this particular one, has built on months of criticism targeting that particular bank for playing both fighter and arsonist by purchasing bonds from polluters as part of its response to the coronavirus pandemic. Activists with the climate justice group Koala Collective. They're spelling collective with a K. I don't know if Germans actually do that. You'll have to look it up. Anyway, they set fire to this model Earth, which is pretty cool, to symbolize the destruction caused by its support for fossil fuels. The European Union Central Bank is currently assessing how it conducts policy looking at issues from inflation measurement to climate change. Hey, European Central Bank, we really need you to stop funding fossil fuels. Focus your strategic review on tackling the climate crisis now. Good job, people. I'm supporting you. I'm reporting on you. I'm doing my best here. Former President Barack Obama made his first in-person campaign pitch for his former Vice President Joe Biden yesterday in Pennsylvania. He blasted current President Donald Trump's handling of the coronavirus, his culpability in the national discord that we're living through, and his overall fitness for the job. With less than 2 weeks before Election Day, Obama used a drive-in campaign rally in Philly to assure voters that Biden and his running mate, Kamala Harris, can mend a fractured country. He lauded the merits of democracy and citizenship as human values, and the United States must embrace. Here is former President Obama talking about health care.
Joe will get this pandemic under control with a plan to make testing free and widely available, to get a vaccine to every American cost-free, and to make sure our frontline heroes never ask other countries for the equipment they need. His plan will guarantee paid sick leave for workers and parents affected by the pandemic, and make sure that the small businesses that hold our communities together and employ millions of Americans can reopen safely. You know, Donald Trump likes to claim
I know we're having a little bit of trouble hearing this, and I'm not exactly sure why. Why, people? Not sure. Okay, so I'm going to let it go, but you can go check it out on PBS. This is a great video of President Obama. I mean, just looking at him, I miss him so much, even though I disagreed with him vehemently on certain things like the TPP, and then Trump exploded the TPP, and so he set me into a moral quandary. But anyway, you're watching ACT.tv. I'm Julianna Forlano. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We bring you this kind of news, and we bring you talk, and we bring you guests every single week, Monday through Thursday, and then we have other shows on Friday. Thank you so much for watching.